Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I'm Fiend Metal and today we got parts. I hope they're all there. Alrighty, so to start this video off, we're going to see how long it goes. But, as I said, we've got new parts. Well, these are all the parts that I've ordered or been reordering a couple of times for some reason. But, you know, need to get stuff in, need to get parts to finish that car. And now we have what should hopefully be everything necessary. So you might be asking what all I ordered. Well, to start off with, because my radiator doesn't have a cap, so my whole cooling system needs a cap, and that requires what's called an expansion tank. And I was thinking, you know, I can build an expansion tank. It's not that hard to build one, it just takes time and some materials. And I'm like, well, how much does the little filler net cost? Because you have to have that one of those. It's either stamped steel, machined aluminum, or whatever. And it's like, by the time I'm done buying the minimum set of materials, I'd probably be out almost 40 bucks. This was $35. It'll do the job just fine. And I'll explain how I'm gonna put this in later to you guys, but you know, $35 off of Amazon, good price, looks to be a decent product. I'm happy with it. We're going to see how well it works. Might take a little while to fill that cooling system with fluid, but you know, we will at least be able to get the job done. That's an upside. Now to go with this, I went into my parts supplier today when I was running errands and picked up a bunch of line so I can run all of the coolant port lines. And we will be able to tie directly into the factory cooling system without interrupting any of the factory coolant passage. So that's the first part I got. Now, next part is for when you relocate a battery, you can be putting a bigger load on the system by having it pass all the positive current through one cable. So going with good quality cable, that is the next thing. Now I bought what is supposed to be and appears to be actually oxygen-free copper, OFC, full copper cable. It's actually meant for welding leads or battery cable. And I did 1/0, so 1 0 gauge, as opposed to going 2/0 or anything like that. I got obviously red for positive and black for negative. 40 feet of that at the parts store, that'll run you a pretty penny. I bought two 20-foot sections. Online, still cost a pretty penny, but cheaper than at the parts store. And when you're working on a budget, sometimes you gotta order offline. So to go with that though, I need what the heck is this? Basically cable ends, eyes and stuff like that. So I bought these. I bought a 100-piece kit. So these are going to be solder on battery cable ends, or whatever you want to call them. But there's more than enough there of everything I need to do this project, hopefully, in theory. It's a 100-piece kit, comes with several different sizes. Also, it comes with the shrink wrap for doing all the cable ends. That's a very big one to me. I wanted to make sure I had everything for adjusting the cables I have on the car, the factory starter cable, the factory alternator cable, all that stuff. I want to make sure I had good, capable line and all the parts I needed to actually make it fit. Then for attaching to the battery, you need to have good quality cable ends, and that's where I bought these. So, basically, this is an unboxing video, I guess, but I already unboxed it all. For that, I went with these. These are military spec battery cable ends, or battery connectors, and they'll make it really easy for me to just connect up to the battery, tie everything down. They come with covers, so I don't have to deal with, you know, figuring out where my covers go or where to get covers from or anything like that. I got a package from a company called A-Team Performance, and that's everything I need to get the job done on that. Came also with a couple extra battery lugs, so there's that. And then we're on to the performance part, well, not really the performance part, the safety side of things. When you are setting everything up and you're putting all the load onto one cable, you don't want that cable going beyond its limits because it will cause the car to burn to the ground, unless you have safety in mind. So I did the math and I calculated out how much amperage the car, like at peak usage, could consume through the battery cable, how long those battery cables can be before it's too much for them. You know, I did all the math, figured everything out, and then I took it one step further and I bought safety equipment. So the next thing I purchased was a 300 amp A&L fuse and connectors, and these also come with sleeves so you can cover them so that when I go to an SCCA rallycross or something like that, I'm actually legal to race because my positive connectors will be covered. I just dropped that. Either way, durable, didn't break. But yeah, so the 300 amp A&L block is what I got. You can get them with bigger fuses. You can run bigger fuses in them, but I started with 300 amp because I think the car, even with the winch I want, should only draw like 285 amps or something like that. So I shouldn't actually be able to pop those fuses, which means if they pop, something bad happened, but they should pop before the car burns to the ground. So there is some safety involved in that. I also bought a 5-pack of fuses. Obviously, if you're going to put fuses in line, you want to have some spares. These are not very expensive. I know people who've done breakers, like 200 amp breakers or stuff like that, but because I have the winch and the I'm going to have a winch, the load capability, I wanted to have fuses and have them replaceable. Breakers, once you start popping it, they just usually become easier and easier to pop sequentially every time after that. So you run the risk of having them be, you know, a potential wear out item, whereas that's not what I'm after. So got all that stuff, and now we're on to the final package. Now, when I wired in the fans at first, I wired them in with just relays. And I had a fuse in there, but it was, you know, like a hokey inline fuse and not done perfectly. It was done Gambler 500 style. You use what you've got, you buy what you need, absolutely need, and you do what you want with your event. Now, to go to the next level, I was thinking, what do I really need to do? You know, I need to have relays, individual relays. No longer one relay for both fans. I want individual relays, one for each fan, to make my life easier and less complicated as far as wiring goes and being able to tell what fails. You know, if one relay is failing, I don't lose both of my cooling fans. I lose one cooling fan, and the car should actually be able to run on one cooling fan. So, you know, it's kind of a safety thing in my eyes, but it will come into play later on when we go dual fan controller and everything. But for right now, we've got these. These will be obviously constant on fan relays. They are fused relays with a 30 amp fuse from the factory, and they come with little connectors and everything, so it's easy to wire them up and make all the connections you need. No more splicing 2 wires together to get my fans to work. None of that. We're not dealing with it anymore. We're just going to have a nice, clean, working car. And that was the goal. It's like there are ways that you can do things and you can get away with it for a while. And trust me, the coupe is still actually wired that same way. Once again, it has a fuse in there, but it's a fuse, and then down the line there's the relay, and then whereas these, the fuses are built into the relays, and we have all the safety is just go to the relay for that part, pull the fuse, check it. Oh, I blew a fuse. Why'd I blow a fuse? Figure that out. Maybe it's just the motor's going bad in the fan or whatever. It makes things diagnosable so that each fan has its own complete circuit, and I no longer have to deal with, hopefully I no longer have to deal with that. So that was definitely a good one in my opinion, and worthwhile spending the money. So that's it. That is pretty much every part I had to purchase to hopefully be able to fix that car to finished running condition this weekend. Think about that. Now in the next video, we're going to be getting started on working on it. Just running cables, fitting the cooling system, just doing everything that it needs to be able to fire it up and hear it run once again. I want to get it back to at least running so I can license it, drive it around, make sure that the cooling system's working, and get it, then I'll be able to take it and the coupe to the dyno. Hopefully, I want to do this. I want to try and schedule it so the wagon and the coupe go to the dyno on the same day and get tested back to back. That would be my ideal setup, and the reason being that way I have an apples to apples comparison. It's not like this one was tested on a hot day, so it had to have its numbers corrected to what to what the other one tested at. Nope, back to back, same day, similar times, just done, and we'll see where everything lands when they're done, and then we can start building boost from there. So that's it for today. If you guys are liking what you're seeing and you want to see more of it, feel free to like and subscribe down below. You can also follow me over on Instagram and Twitter. Those are also in that description down below. And if you want to see me build more race cars, come on back for the next one. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you in the next video.